Accessing mainframe.
Launch authorization received. Countdown sequence initiated.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 4, 4.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Chix Flix. We talk about all things streaming. We were established during the pandemic because guess what? There really wasn't too much else to do than watch TV, right? So we became totally addicted to all things streaming, and we figured, why not share it with everyone else? So I'm Socially Rhonda, and I am also the Realtor Premier. And my girls here, Miss Alicia Hancock and Kimberly Byer Clark. How are my chicks doing today? Alicia?
I am tired. Not tired, tired. I've just had a lot going on, and I think moving in a couple of weeks has complicated my life. But I will say this about having a storage. I cleaned my storage yesterday. Swear to you, got rid of 3/4 of what was in there. And like, why do you keep, like, I saw a silver bookmark that I gotten from the Four Seasons that has been packed for 10 years? Why did I have to give some thought about just ditching that? It's like, why do we hold on to these little mementos? We take them out of a box and then we put them into another box. So yeah. So I've been obsessed with why do we keep stuff. And then right before I went into my storage to clean it out, I saw this show about minimalism. So purging was very successful last night.
Is it the one with the two guys? Was that the one? The two guys?
No,
was that the show you watched?
No, it was actually a talk show. And I want to say it was on Town Hall. And it was talking to a lady who lived very minimal and went through this whole conversation of why we hang on to stuff. And so I had that fresh in my mind. So yeah, I was a tossing mama.
So did you toss the bookmark or you put it in another box?
I haven't touched this. I got this at
I'm just asking. I'm not judging. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I got it from a company event in Houston. I've been in Atlanta for 10 years.
Wow.
What does Elsa say? Let it go, let it go.
Let it go. Right.
But I couldn't get rid of the albums and the CDs. I'm going to give that some thought.
Yes.
I agree. Those are mementos. You show those to your grandnieces and nephews, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is so antiquated. What is this?
Right. But I thought I had lost this. I did find my dad was a truck driver. And I found his, the very first certificate that he got when he got his license. So I'm going to frame it. So I was happy. I was like, oh my God, I didn't throw it away. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
My week's been pretty good. I got my second COVID vaccine shot and I was down for the count the next day, but I am resilient and back up and glad that I got my shot. Second shot so that now I can safely feel safe and travel and see my family, which I haven't seen in over a year. And I guess I can head on down to Krispy Kreme and get a free donut because if you show your vaccination card, you can get a free donut. So
you got to be kidding me, for real?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
That is so funny. Go Krispy Kreme.
Hey, hooking us up, giving us our sugar high. So I will take it. And how are you? How are you, Miss Rhonda?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. I'm great. No complaints. Work is good. I haven't done anything super duper exciting. Just enjoying the weather. I'm glad that the weather is starting to break because even though I'm from New York, born and raised, I do not like the cold, not even a little bit. And so this, Atlanta with its bipolar weather, I'm kind of nervous about getting too comfortable because they'll be like, oh, it's going to be 30 degrees next week or something crazy like that, But I've been enjoying the weather. I'm enjoying having my sunroof open, sitting on my deck, going for walks, and just really looking forward to the spring. And being able to get together with people still, even outside, like getting together with the tribe, going to the park and just sitting outside and chatting it up. So I am amazing. Thank you so much for asking.
You are quite welcome, sister.
Yeah. So,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
But don't you like the cold weather fashions?
I love the fashion, but I really am a sundress and flip-flops type of girl.
Okay.
Or a tank top and some shorts. Uh-huh. I'm a minimalist when it comes to clothes. As much as I love them, I like to wear the least amount possible.
Oh God, we have trips coming up. I'm kind of scared. Ladies, so today we're discussing Behind Her Eyes, Ginny in Georgia, and Biggie, I Got a Story to Tell. Okay, I'll admit, I did not finish watching the Biggie story. As you'll know, there was a little bit of drama in the neighborhood this afternoon. But the part that I did see, I feel like I learned so much about him. He was just so versatile. I love hearing about his love for the arts and jazz. But being a Texas girl, I loved hearing that he could not go to sleep without listening to country music. But I feel that his versatility kind of took him to the level of the rapper that he was. And I feel like we had something in common. He was thinking about being a commercial artist before he discovered the whole drug thing. And I think I got up to the part where the mom thought that the drugs were dried mashed potatoes and she threw them away.
That was funny. That was hilarious.
So I forgot about that.
Yeah. So from what I've seen, I've enjoyed, but my favorite Biggie quote has always been, even when I was wrong, I got my point across. But I haven't watched the whole thing, but feel free to fill me in on the rest.
Cool. Yeah, so Biggie, I Got a Story to Tell, which is streaming on Netflix. And being a New Yorker, Biggie was the man back in the day, and he still is. You throw on a Biggie record and you can still rock a party. So I thoroughly enjoyed watching this just because I feel like I came up with him because, about the same age and just hearing his music all the time. But I thought it was a great documentary that showed another side of Biggie that we didn't know, from the perspective of his family and his real childhood friends, not people who are just like, hanger on or groupies and things like that. And it wasn't, one of the things I almost didn't want to watch it was because I thought it was going to be all puffy, AKA Diddy, Sean John, whatever name he goes by these days. Who knows what it is? It changes like the weather.
Right.
But I appreciated seeing more of his family and his childhood friends, his mom, his uncle. There was a little bit of Faith Evans, who he was married to. I even think his son was in it. But what I really loved was the fact that you saw home movies of him when he's, got his career started, rapping on the corner, traveling with his boys. So you really got to see him with no pretenses. And so it just gave me a greater appreciation of Biggie, who he was as a person and his music. And why he, what he rapped about made sense because that's what he lived. Right. So, Rhonda, what did you think of Biggie's documentary?
Oh, I love it. People always say, who's your top five? Biggie's always in my top five hip hop. And we could go on. There's Biggie, Jay-Z. Okay, we won't go there. That's another conversation. But Biggie is definitely in my top five. And I was excited about this because it did show it from a different perspective. You're right. It wasn't all about Puffy. And who would have thought? I mean, that was brilliant of his friend to document everything back then and to hold on to it. to, so that they have it now. So you're right. It's unscripted. It was raw footage. I love that. And being a New Yorker too, I totally could relate to being on the block. And people, when they get on the block, a lot of times they stay on the block or they die. They get killed or they get locked up.
Yeah, so, a friend, I don't know who it was, if it was a friend or a relative, but he was saying, my life was from this street to this street. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing how people from Brooklyn, and when you say what part of Brooklyn you from, you say your neighborhood, and then you say I grew up on Albany between Union and Detroit. You literally give people your block, and then they know where you're from.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Right, because like I'm from the Bronx, and they say, where you from? I'm from the Bronx. What part? From the Valley. Where? Gunther and Burke. You know what I mean? Like, it's like right here, Gunther by Hafen Park. Like,
right.
So we know that you're right in this little quadrant.
Right.
So it's a New York thing. You wouldn't understand, Lisa.
No, I grew up in big old Houston, Texas.
Hee-haw. But speaking of Texas, not only am I from New York, I'm Jamaican. So I was not surprised that Biggie had to listen to country music, because I grew up on Charlie Pride, Loretta Lynn, Hee-haw, all of that. I grew up on country music. I mean, The Coal Miner's Daughter is one of my favorite movies, especially when he said, when she met her boyfriend and they went riding, and he said, where you been? And she said, I went riding, whatever her husband's name was, like, he took me riding, and the father said, took you riding?
Girl, you sounded like
That's my favorite line of the movie. Took you riding. Anyway, like, you think you grow, because she was like, 16 maybe. But anyway, so Jamaicans, or a lot of Caribbeans, listen to a lot of country music, believe it or not.
Never knew that. Wow. Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
When I break out the country, western, and MV, you okay with that?
I'm totally okay with it. It's nostalgic. I'll be like, okay, this reminds me of my childhood. I'll be like, you have any Kenny Rogers over there? Like, what you got? Don't to battle? What you
don't
got?
Talk about my girl Dolly Parton. I love me some Dolly Parton.
I love Dolly. To this day, she just continues to reinvent herself. She's just amazing.
Yeah, she really is.
I love Dolly Parton. So as Jamaicans, that's what we do. We listen to country music. Yeah. Learn something new every day.
For me, Biggie gets 5 sips.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know about you. Yes, yeah, I get 5 sips. I could probably watch it again. I enjoyed it.
And this was my favorite Biggie documentary, and there are plenty. So yes, I love this one.
Great.
From the half I saw, I'll give it 5, but I'll definitely check out the rest. But I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, Rhonda, what did you think about Behind Her Eyes?
Behind Her Eyes. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. I was like, it totally was not anything that I expected. It's interesting how, people have addictions, and, the people have addictions, and they don't even know how to deal with it. You know what I mean? And people are, like when they were in the home together, remember? Right. And so like they just kind of put people away. But anyway, then you meet people, and I don't even know where to start with this. Let me digress. Okay. Let me digress. Kim, you start with this. Let me get my thoughts together.
Okay.
On Behind Her Eyes.
No problem. So Behind Her Eyes is on Netflix. It's a British series. I think it's 6 or 7 episodes. So it wasn't super, super long.
Yeah.
It was very suspenseful. It had a bit of supernatural in it. And the series, like I said, yes, based in England. It deals with marital affairs, betrayal, mental health, and the ultimate story of revenge. I mean, talk about some craziness. I almost, when I finished watching the series, you know, if you have an iPhone, I felt like the Avatar with my head blown off because the ending was just like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming, and now everything makes sense. The other cool part I thought was that the one of the leading actresses in the series is actually Bono's daughter, Bono from U2. Her name is Eve Hewson. She was excellent. I wouldn't have, if I hadn't watched something on TV, I would have never known that was his daughter. She was an excellent, excellent actress. And, you know, with the pandemic, hopefully they have to shoot a second season because the way the cliffhanger ended, there's an interracial aspect to this show as well. The son of the Black woman that's in the show knows something is wrong off with his mother and he can't figure it out. And so I want to see how they continue the story. But it was just absolutely, as they say, I was gobsmacked, as they say in England. I was completely gobsmacked.
And that's what I need to discuss, that ending, because I have this interpretation of it. And I had a discussion with someone and they were like, I don't think that's it. Okay. Can I just dive into it?
Go ahead. And then I'll see. We'll see if we're on the same page.
Okay. Was that the same person at the end?
The spirit, what I think is the spirit that's in Louise, I think her name is Louise, right? The sister is the guy from the mental health.
Exactly. That's what I thought. That's what I thought too.
And that's why I said it was the ultimate, because he was very jealous of the husband.
Yeah.
And he was gay. And I think he had, figured out this supernatural thing. And it was like the ultimate story of revenge. He jumped in the body of the wife. Right. And then now he's jumped into the body of the
girlfriend.
Sister. Yeah. So that's who I think it is.
Yeah, because the way they were doing the flashbacks of her like practicing a certain line, and then the little boy looking at her like, something's off, and then mentioning like the cruise, and the little boy says, oh, because you don't like boats. So I'm like, wait a minute. Is this like another person or okay?
Yeah, that's the whole premise. He jumped. Right. So remember in the house fire, and thank you, I got my bearings together now. In the house fire, he went in and switched again, right?
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
you remember that?
I think the spirit that is in Louise's body is, I think his name was Rob from the mental health hospital.
Okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's who's in that body. He has jumped into a whole nother body because he killed her in the forest. Right. Went on and pretended all those years being married in her body.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Revenge. Talk about the ultimate revenge factor. And then when she tried to kill her, had the fire, he now jumped out of her body into Louise's body.
Louise's body.
I literally had to go back and look at like the last 2 episodes again. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I look down? What? Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that they bring it back.
Yeah, I thought the acting was excellent. It was a great storyline.
Yes.
And I'm drawn to like a short series. I like 6, I don't like the 12, yeah. So I thought that
I give Behind Her Eyes 5 sips. Yeah, that was just, like I said, it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
I gave it 5 sips too, because it definitely kept you on the edge of your seat.
Right. First when I heard somebody mention like the supernatural aspect, and I'm typically not drawn to that, but I thought it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But you wouldn't know that. We didn't know that's what it was going to end up being.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't too overbearing. Like the supernatural didn't. It really didn't come in towards the end of the the latter part of the series. So it wasn't like all supernatural, freaky.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Right. Ginny in Georgia, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was so cute. So Ginny in Georgia. Ginny is short for Virginia, and it's about a mother and daughter and her son, and they are on this. Their lives is just crazy. It's just up and down and round. Whatever works for the mom, however the wind blows, that's where she's going, right? And she didn't want that for her daughter. She really wanted the best for her daughter, like most parents want for their children. So she was a teenage mom. She made terrible mistakes, and it's almost like she was living vicariously through her daughter. Right? That's the impression I got. It's like whatever her daughter was doing, she was like kind of on it, thinking about how they were doing the flashbacks of what she was doing at that age. And so I thought it was pretty interesting. I love how they incorporated the Indian guy in the coffee shop that she met when she was a kid. Right. And she still had the glasses. It's like when they're just some things, and they're just defining moments in your life. And you may not necessarily know what they are or that it's even happening, that it is a defining moment at that moment. But that was obviously a defining moment for her because she held on to those sunglasses.
Yeah.
Right. But he never I think they both kind of knew. I think he knew for sure. Mm-hmm. I think they both kind of knew that they were the ones that had the interaction when they were younger, but neither one of them really came out and said it, did they? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think there's so many loose ends that there could totally be a season 2. What do you think?
Oh, no, definitely. I have a really funny story. This actually came up on one of my Zoom calls, and one of my colleagues was going on talking about, like the social media aspect, being like the popular person in school. So she goes on and says, oh, that girl in school is like, either they're the cheerleader or they're the smart girl. And if they're the smart girl, they're probably like dating an athlete, and then they go to college and, pledge a sorority. And I'm like, that's you. That is my life. But my heart went out to the daughter just because of so many schools that she went to. But just thinking about like the neighbor's son, who was like perfect on the outside, but just really broken in the inside because he had lost a friend. So I kind of like seeing like that softer side of him. And, was pretty much rooting for them to be together, during the movie. But just
were you really? I was rooting for her to be with the Asian guy. He was a perfect gentleman. I was rooting for him.
Really, but I feel like the neighbor I feel like there was a part of him that struggled with this image that he had to keep up with, but he was really like a nice guy, and he was just kind of troubled. And so I don't know, I was rooting for him, but I just didn't like the whole, I don't like the whole when you have to go to a new school and, are you going to be, schools are cliquey, and that just the whole social media thing. And I'm glad we didn't have social media when I was in school. That is so tough. Just the added stress. Yeah. The added stress. Yeah. It's so tough. Yeah. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. But the mom, she clearly had not dealt with a lot of things from her past. And that definitely came out in the way that she like lived her life. But did y'all put her and the mayor together?
I knew it when she was in the coffee shop and he came in. I knew they were going to get together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she's a murderer.
Yeah.
She's a murderer.
Yeah, she is.
Clearly.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
So I can't wait to see, is she going to kill the mayor? Like, what's going to happen?
Her hemlock.
You know?
Yeah, she was
Like Bob Marley says, I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Like, is she going to shoot the mayor? Like, come on. What's going on?
Oh, no, she was such a little schemer. So are you shocked when your daughter shoplifted? Look what you're doing. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
But
well, anyway.
She's brilliant. She was brilliant. Mm-hmm.
Ginny in Georgia is on Netflix if you're looking for it. It was a bit of a long series. It might have been 12 episodes. I felt like it took me a couple of days to get through it all. But thought it was a great, very, very modern, like you said, Alicia, dealt with social media. One of the young ladies in the group is a lesbian. So it was very, very today, what kids and adults are going through, in this crazy generation. But it's a great modern Mother Day coming of age story for both of them, because like Rhonda said, she was a teenage mother and she's the mother of two children. Ginny, her real name is Virginia, but her nickname is Ginny. And the son's name is Dallas, or it was something tied to wherever they were born because they moved so much. She named both kids after different cities. But the interesting thing is that the daughter, thank you, Austin. I knew it was somewhere in Texas.
Oh, yeah, city, yeah.
Yeah, and so the daughter is biracial. The father is black and the mother is white. So that was extremely modern as well. I mean, I have a brother and niece and nephew, they're biracial. So I just think it was very today in what's going on in the world. But because of the mother's tough upbringing, Georgia, she's constantly moving to find love and to be settled. And so she's always scheming and planning things and doing different things because of the upbringing that she had. But it took a little while for me to click to this show just because I am not a parent. And I felt as if a lot of the topics were just sometimes a little too risque, but I guess this is what these kids are going through today with social media and the pressures that they have. And like you said, Alicia, thank God we didn't have social media when we were coming up. Oh my God, could you even imagine? But I enjoyed it. I think it was a great distraction to watch. But like I said, it was a bit long, and we'll see if they come back and shoot another season the way it ended, the cliffhanger.
I hope so. But like you said, but being a parent, I related to a lot of things in that. And one thing that was very interesting to me, like I just said, oh yeah, she's a murderer. But if you remember with her last husband, when Georgia was, when the daughter was like stretching or whatever, and the husband came and was rubbing like her leg, and then the mother saw that while she was on the stairs, and that's when she made the smoothie. But and eventually we know that the plant was poisonous, and that's how he died. However, sometimes as a parent you have to do things, and you can't really share with the children. Like she couldn't tell. So her daughter, for them, it's like, oh my God, we're moving again. But she didn't know that she did this for her. Right. And sometimes you have to just do things, for your kids and make those sacrifices, and they don't know, and they'll never know because they won't understand. So you don't need to tell them that. You just have to know that I'm gonna have to take the repercussions, but knowing that you did the right thing. Yeah. And I think that was, seeing that, I thought that there were other things that she may have done while they moved that they don't know, that they haven't shared with us yet, which is why I'm hoping that there is, because for me, again, like I want to know more. I really want to learn more about their journey. I want to know about more about Austin's dad, right? They didn't share a whole lot about Austin's dad. We know that she set him up to go to jail for, was it white collar crime? I don't remember what it was, but we know that he's, allegedly in jail. Why did she have to do that? What happened then? So there's so many unanswered questions for me. I love that show, and I really hope they come out with the season 2. That's it.
Well, Ginny and Georgia gets 4 sips for me.
Yeah, 4. for me too.
5 for me.
Oh,
Sip, 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 sip. Yes, I loved it.
This part of the show is our Three Chix Biz segment. And this week we're featuring my girlfriend. She owns a company called Sass Say It Mean It. And you can see at the bottom of the screen there her information. But she makes some great greeting cards. And so this is the packaging that her note cards come in. And this is a card, one of the ones I bought, and it says, you probably can't read it, but it says, to the most cancer AF, and I'm not going to say what AF stands for, person I know. So it's a great birthday card. She does all the different zodiac signs. She makes journals, notebooks, t-shirts. So make sure you check her out. She has great creative products. She's a graphic designer by trade, like you, Alicia, and launched a whole business around it. So make sure you check her out.
Awesome. You have got to watch Defending Jacob.
Oh, well, I know it's on Apple TV, so I got to sign up for it.
It blows. The Undoing, Big Little Lies, Little Fies Everywhere. It is literally one of the best shows I've seen in like the last year.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm not going to tell you what it's about. It is so freaking.
How long is it? Is it a movie or a series?
It's a series. It's a short one, maybe 8 episodes or less. Yeah, Apple TV. Worth every freaking minute.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to check that out. But one thing we're going to do that's kind of new on this show this week is we're going to do a giveaway, ladies. And so,
and gentlemen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And gentlemen, we're giving away a box. Rhonda and I attended a advanced screening drive-in.
Okay, we're at the Aretha Franklin premiere. Let's see what we got. We got some boas. And all right. They gave us, look, our own napkin, popcorn, Whopper. Oh my God, I love Whoppers.
And water.
And boxed water. Woo-woo. Look at that.
So it was very COVID friendly. Of Aretha, which is airing this week on National Geographic, but will move to Hulu. And so they were very generous and gave us some great snacks. So we want to definitely give this away. But in order to enter the contest, please make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. And we will contact the lucky winner to make sure that we get this box out to them. It's a great series. I've been hearing great things about it. I haven't watched it. I've been DVRing it all this week. So I want to make sure I go back and watch it.
Right. We only saw at the screening, we only saw the first episode and we were like, oh my gosh, it was literally amazing. So I know the other episodes are definitely worth watching.
It's on National Geographic, but I think it hits Hulu.
Correct. Yep, it hits Hulu on her birthday.
Yeah.
So once it finishes airing, it will move to Hulu. So I'm sure in a future episode, we will critique the Aretha Genius Aretha, because there's a whole other Aretha movie coming out starring Jennifer Hudson. So I don't know when that one's coming out. So, but make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook and Instagram, and we'll pick one lucky winner to win the box. So it looks like we're coming to the end of our show here. And so, Rhonda, you want to close us out?
Well, yeah, thank you. This was amazing. If there are any shows that you think we should watch or that you want us to review, please share with us. As you follow us on our social media, just drop it in the comment section or DM us. We love when people slide in the DM. We're okay with that. You can slide in our DM. And we'll be happy to do that. Just stay tuned and we will see you soon.
Yes, stay tuned. Stay tuned.